guys, welcome to Lala's Kitchenette. I'm Chef Lala, and on this channel, I love to help people elevate their cooking skills. On today's episode, we're making tabbouleh, traditional Lebanese tabbouleh, but we're using quinoa today, so that's a fun little twist we're doing. And here's what you're going to need. Other than the quinoa, which of course I have already cooked and cooled, I used 1 cup of quinoa and 2 cups of water, took it off the heat early, let it rest, absorb the water, and poured out the excess, the little bit of excess that was left over, so that our quinoa is nice and fluffy, but not overcooked, not soggy. And I used tricolor quinoa, which is red, black, and white quinoa. There's over 1,000 types of quinoa on this earth, but the most common kinds in the States anyway are white, black, and red. But I used the medley of all three just for a little more like visual interest and fun texture times. For tabbouleh, you're going to need parsley, lots of it, mint, red onion, lemon or lemon juice, tomatoes, and I've mixed up a little Baharat, which is just Lebanese 7-spice seasoning, and I'll be sure to list all that spice blend in our description box below. And yeah, we're just going to start chopping some of these herbs. I'm just going to use half a red onion because I'm using chives as well, so I need to use a whole onion for this. And we're just going to get into it, guys. And it's super important to rinse your quinoa before you cook it, because if you're ever having a problem with your quinoa being bitter, it's probably because you didn't rinse it enough. There's something called saponin on the outside of quinoa grains that can make it really bitter. So like when you rinse it and you see that little bit of foaminess around the edge of the water, you want to get rid of that completely. And that will help your quinoa not taste bitter and just have really nice texture when it's done cooking. So there's our onion. And tabbouleh, you want everything to be really, really, really small, because that way it all sort of melds with the textures of the grains, and it's just really nice, like medley style. Get a red onion in there. Yeah, so in the 7-spice that I used today, I used coriander, ginger, cumin, salt and pepper, bit of allspice, bit of cinnamon. But yeah, like I said, I'll make sure to list that in the description so we're not confused about what spices should be in the 7-spice. There are a lot of different versions of that out there, so make sure you get a cross section of the best for tabbouleh. But also, if you do a lot of Lebanese cooking or a lot of Middle Eastern dishes, the 7-spice is really handy to keep around. That way you can just, instead of mixing it up every time, you can just dole it out as needed into whatever it is you're making. So this is not quite traditional Lebanese tabbouleh, because a traditional Lebanese tabbouleh would be about 50% parsley, and in the States it's more like a grain with the addition of herbs, where in the Middle East it's herbs with a slight coating of grain. And traditionally, you'd be using bulgur wheat, which is just cracked wheat berries. Sometimes they'll be cooked or parboiled wheat berries, just to make, the cooking process faster and quicker at home. But even if you don't have all the stuff to make the 7-spice mix, you can, as long as you have, either chive or onion, lemon juice, olive oil, salt and pepper, and cumin, and some type of grain, and or tomato, like, you're going to make a really great simple tabbouleh. But we're going all out, and we did our 7-spice today. We're doing it with quinoa, which is the highest protein of all the grains. So, little more filling, more entree status option here. So, but yeah, you could probably, you could make this with whatever grain you want, Use farro, or, whatever strikes your fancy. So I got my red onion super finely minced and in the bowl, half of a red onion. I got a handful of chive stalks minced and in the bowl with our quinoa. Was our cup of cooked quinoa. And I got a big old heap of parsley over here. And I'm just gonna chop this up super finely. And it helps when you're chopping a loose herb like this to sort of twist it up and make like a bundle. And that way you can kind of retighten it as you chop. And this is like super awesome, bright, summery grain dish that's very healthy and also very satisfying. And like during the summer months when you don't want to turn on the oven, you don't want to use the stove any more than you have to, it's great because all you have to do is cook the quinoa for about 10 minutes. So, got good on our parsley here. It's so beautiful. Like this tabbouleh is such a colorful dish. It has so many textures. And it's really amazing. You can use it as a side dish. You could use it as a main dish and put a protein on it. You could use this as a topping for a green salad. Green salad on green salad. I like the sound of that. So, get all our herbs into our bowl. And we'll squeeze our lemons next. I'll waste any of this nice parsley. So yeah, we'll need our lemons. And I would say for our 1 cup that we cooked of quinoa, we probably need a half cup of lemon juice and gonna go with a 1/4 cup of olive oil about. So we'll see what it looks like on there and we'll give it a taste. And yeah, this 7 spice is very, very strong. So like start light and add more later if you feel like you need to. Very, very pungent flavor profile on that 7 spice. And I'm just needing a lemon. We'll get the maximum amount of juice out of it that we can. And I guess it's always better to squeeze your lemon into something in case you lose any seeds. You can easily pick them out of the thing of juice rather than try to dig it out of, you know, your more finished product that you're making. So, just gonna slab this up. Go ahead and squeeze this. It also helps if you do your lemons like how I have it cut. I cut the sides off lengthwise. That way the seeds stay in the middle section. And of course, always kneading your lemons is going to give you way more juice out of it than just trying to dry squeeze, hard squeeze. So, all right. This smells awesome. And see, I'm using my hand. If I were to lose a lemon seed, I could probably catch it in my hand before it hits the bowl. There. All right. Get into our other lemon over here. Once again, kneading so that we can get the maximum amount of juice possible out. And we're using our side planking technique to trap the seeds in the middle. And I'm probably going to use the juice of both of these lemons. It smells so good. Like, I really think you guys are going to love this dish. It's really summery, fresh, bright. It's filling and satisfying without being heavy. And like I said before, you know, you don't have to heat up your kitchen a lot with having the oven on, or so it's really nice in that way too. All right. That is awesome right there. And I'm going to go ahead and chop up our tomatoes, and I'm going to chop them up really nice and finely like the rest of our gear in there. And we'll be right back in a minute to show you what these look like. Okay, so we got all our nice diced up tomatoes mixed in, added into our parsley and our grains and our mint and our chives and our nice quinoa. And now it's time to dress. And I'm going to put about 1/4 cup of olive oil into our squeezed lemon. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of our 7 spice. Like I said, start easy on it and give it a taste. And if that's too punchy for you, you know, you can't take it out, but you can add more. So I'm going to whisk up our lemon juice and olive oil. And if you have leftover lemon juice and olive oil, just add a little salt and pepper to it, and it makes a great salad dressing. Makes a really nice thing to bathe greens in, so don't worry if you have extra. Gonna go ahead and pour this on over all our nice grains and our 7 spice. And we'll give it a mix. See how pretty this is? Like the red onion and the tricolor grains. It's so pretty. It's so summery. It smells awesome. Super vibrant and tangy. Cool textures. What a great summer dish, though. Either as a side or as a main, and I think you'll really enjoy it with quinoa. Get a little more protein out of it. A little interesting texture. And if you're new here, welcome, and please feel free to subscribe, like, and share. Don't forget to tap the notification bell if you enjoyed this and you'd like to see future videos from me. I got some really cool stuff coming up. So I got a twist on pasta a la limone, some seafood dishes, and I just returned from Vermont, which made me want to do Boston baked beans. So let's give it a taste. Look at it, it's all incorporated. And of course, this will be even better tomorrow if I let it sit overnight in the fridge, let it marinate itself and those flavors all meld together. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. That's really nice. And I'm glad I started small with that amount of 7 spice. But it's lemony, the grains are cooked really nicely, a little bit of texture, a little tooth bite there. And I think you're really going to enjoy this summer. Hope you enjoy my version of tabbouleh using quinoa. And check out some of my other videos. Thank you for joining me in my tiny kitchen. Peace out. It's Lala.